I'm Sarah J, and welcome back to my art studio, and welcome back to beautiful Melbourne, Australia. Love to give a forecast. So 34 degrees today, very, very warm. I don't think the weather quite knows that we've moved into autumn, so it still is very much feeling like summer. No complaints, love it. Today we're going to be painting a gorgeous tree by a lake, and this is it here. So this is from a local lake that I love to go around and walk around. I get my exercise in, but it's also very, very meditative to be near water. When I passed this tree, I was mesmerized by the look of the whole tree. So I thought, you know what, I want to paint this tree. And so today we're going to do it in gouache and soft pastels. Now remember, I do speed up the video and pause where you need to and stop it if you're drawing along with me. So I will be debriefing at the end, so remember to have a look at that. Anyway, let's get to painting. So let's just go over the materials we're using today. Firstly, the Progresso Pencil, which is a lovely pencil. It's a nice soft tip. We'll be using watercolor paper, A3 size, 180 GSM, a nice thickness for using the gouache and the soft pastels today, and has a good texture on it too. Also be using an eraser for when we need to make any rub outs, burnt sienna, we have cerulean blue, and we've got a lovely deep Prussian blue for like the darker color, and we're also using traditional titanium white. We're using a few different brushes today, round brushes, a flat brush, and I'll link those in the description. We're using soft pastels. I've got my 48 Faber Castel. They've got a really nice range of color, and I find them very vibrant, and I feel perfect for the painting that I'm doing today. They're a good range. So I start off preparing my paper on my easel. You also need a palette as well. So I first start off with the composition, having a look at what I'm actually painting today. Ensuring that I get a good understanding of, I guess, the concept, where I want the tree positioned, and just a general idea of how it's all going to work. It's a really important way to start your picture, and you really need to think about what you're trying to do. So first of all, usually I start with a horizon line where the tree, I guess, meets the lake. So I just start here with the pencil sketch and just draw in all the branches. Important to keep looking at the picture too, and where you need to, just update it, erasing and redrawing. Getting the bushes in now in the background. Before you move on to the painting, you really want to make sure that you're really happy with the key features of the tree. And because this is really the main part of the painting, I want to get it right. So I'm taking my time with the pencil sketch. I think trees are just amazing. They're so strong and resilient, and that's what I like about this tree. It's strong and resilient. And how perfect to be right near a lake. You certainly won't be worried about getting enough nutrients. So now I'm moving on to my painting. So I start with my white, titanium white, and my cerulean blue and my round brush, and I start to really just put in the key parts of the lake in that beautiful vibrant blue. And then I move on to also the sky, putting a little bit more white in there. Really just going between the branches. Later I will be putting in a few leaves, but it's really about building that beautiful blue sky. And this is helping to create that serenity that I really wanted to create in this picture, because it was a very serene scene of nature, and it's bringing the whole connection between nature and peace together. Gouache is a lovely paint to use, and it's got a thicker nature about it than watercolor. I really like to use gouache. I think it creates the effect that I like to create. So I'm just finishing between all the branches here with my beautiful blue. Taking a little bit more time between the branches, making sure that I don't go over those branches, that I ensure that the blue is in the right spots. It's a really lovely Taklon brush, and it's great for what I want to do today. So now I'm bringing in a beautiful burnt sienna. And my Prussian blue to create a deeper color trunk. So I've mixed it together, and I'm getting on to painting that amazing trunk, that very, very strong trunk. So I could have done this in black, that is an option, or you could have done like a deep purple. But I really like burnt sienna and I love Prussian blue, and I thought it would be a great combination for the silhouette. So important to really take your time, and the reason why I chose this particular brush, it's got a nice flat surface, so I can get those edges really well. But you do need to take your time because you're using a very dark color. It's pretty hard to fix it later. Really love to go for walks around lakes. Basically anywhere where there's water. I love the ocean, I love lakes. It's a really beautiful place to just meditate and enjoy, let your mind go quiet. And I generally don't like to listen to music or anything, just listen to nature and its sounds, because it's extremely calming, it's really peaceful, it's great for your well-being, and also you get your exercise in. And I often find inspiration near water. So moving on to a slightly different brush here. It's got more of a pointed edge. It is a round brush, and I'm going in into a little bit more detail with the branches. I don't always like to mix in the color perfectly. I leave it like half mix, and then I pick up different elements of it. So I've got more of the sienna color here, the burnt sienna color, than the Prussian blue. I will go over a little bit darker later, but it's nice to have like just slightly different variations of the color, and that feels very authentic to nature. Nothing's perfect in nature. Yeah, so really important for me here to create the sense of serenity, and I'm doing that with the use of color and the composition as well. I think the silhouette helps to create a sense of calm. So there's not a lot of color going on in the tree, and then you get a sense of stillness, and then the stillness of the lake and the water. Now I'm drying it all off with my hair dryer, making sure it's not too hot. You can just go away and have a cup of tea while it dries. I would give it at least, ideally, a half an hour or to an hour to dry properly. I forgot to mention you will need a cloth, a damp cloth, because you'll be using it to wipe your hands when you're using your soft pastels to keep your paper and your hands clean. So I'm starting with my light green pastel, and I will just be working on those background areas. I'll be using my fingers for smudging today, and also some Q-tips as well. I think with art, it's really important to always enjoy what you're doing. It should never be a labor. And if it ever gets to that point, it's important to stop, rest, whatever it takes. It's meant to be something that flows. It shouldn't be restrictive. So, stop when you need to, take a break. You might need to take a couple of days or longer. Because you need to really stay in that beautiful flow, and out of the beautiful flow comes beauty and creativity. Creativity doesn't come when we are exhausted and when we are feeling overwhelmed. That's when everything slows down. So really important to be rested and take your time, and if it feels labored, stop until you're ready again. Working quickly now with my greens. Not overthinking, just putting in color where I see the color. Now working with my handy Q-tip, which is especially important around those branches and where you have to have clearly defined areas. And bringing in some deep green here, a beautiful rich green. And using my Q-tip again to create a sense of depth and distance. It can get pretty messy with those pastels. So yeah, as I said before in previous videos, if you're out and about, make sure you take a little kit with you. Some baby wipes, a bottle of water, a cloth, at least some paper towels, because you are going to need them. Don't do what I do. Sometimes I end up scratching my face or whatever, and I go in the car and I'm like, yep, I've got it all over my face, but it's all part of the fun. So now I'm bringing in the beautiful deep blues into that lake area. So there's some definite clear shadows in the distance on that lake. And also there's where the sun has hit the lake towards the front here. So yeah, I'm just working through all my colors here, working out where the light hits the lake and where I need to put the shadows in, also coming back in on the sky. One of the things I learned in art school was to squint your eyes when you look at the picture or whenever you're looking at a scene you're painting. To really ensure that you're getting a key understanding of where the light is and where the darker areas of the picture are. So I could have actually put the shadow in on the left of the tree where the branches are, but I just decided to leave it out in this particular picture. It just felt right. But yeah, I absolutely could have put the shadow in, but it would create a busier picture, and I really wanted to keep this more of a serene nature, and you could do a soft shadow, but I really like just having the one shadow where the light was going away from the tree, just on the right hand side here. But you can absolutely put the shadow in front as well. Yeah, so just working on the foreground here, keeping it nice and bright. Green colors and blue are very serene colors. They keep a sense of calm to a picture. They're very much in tune with nature. That's why I like to use them. Here we're bringing in some of this gorgeous bright orange at the top of those bushes. There's sort of like these fluffy, I guess, areas at the top of the bushes, and so I've used that with the orange. I'm also bringing it in the foreground, coming back in with greens again. So we're just really looking at all the different elements of the picture colors and thinking where do I want to use green? Where do I want to use orange? And now I'm going in with those gorgeous eucalyptus leaves. I don't know if you've been to Australia, I don't know if you're in Australia or you're overseas, but eucalyptus leaves can smell so beautiful when it's rained. So in the winter, you know, you can go after it's rained through a forest, and it's just this amazing, gorgeous smell. Some people actually are able to whistle through a eucalyptus tree by putting a little bit of a cut in it, but I've never been able to do it, but I've certainly given it a good go. Yes, I'm just bringing in those leaves with a nice deep rich green, and then softening it here and there with my Q-tip. You could use a soft tip of a paintbrush as well. Also ensuring those shadows have got some good color in there, and I'm softening the shadow. I want it to be clear that the tree trunk is ending and the actual shadow is starting. And there I'm finished. I'm putting in my signature. I think reviews are really important, and I think it's good to say, oh, what went well and what you enjoyed. So in terms of this picture, I really wanted this to be mainly about this magnificent tree. So I'm happy with the composition. I'm happy where it's placed, and it's slightly off center, which I think it makes for an interesting picture. So this picture is mainly a silhouette concept. Years ago when I was in high school, I actually did a great silhouette sunset using airbrush, and I couldn't help but think of that when I was painting this. In terms of the color, I'm happy with the colors. I really did want vibrancy. I obviously like to paint with vibrancy. I did use the blue throughout the picture, so we've got the blue of the sky and we've got the blue of the water, and I brought in some blue in the shadowy areas. I also had some fun with my favorite other colors, yellow and orange, which I did bring in here too with some of the shadows and some of the foliage at the top. So this is a eucalyptus tree, so I have defined a few leaves on the tree, but there wasn't a ton of leaves, and I didn't do the whole tree. There was obviously a lot more leaves higher up, but I'm happy with the leaves. So one of the things I was thinking as I was doing this is I would actually love to do this on canvas. And that's a great thing when you try different mediums. You get ideas for the future. And I think this would make a really great large painting in acrylic. So I might actually have a go at that. And I will share it with you if I do. I'm really happy with the branches. I feel like they're kind of quirky. I didn't put them all in. You don't have to put every single branch in, but you definitely get a feel of what the tree is like. So thank you so much for joining me today. It was fun to spend time with you. I hope that you do have a go at painting this picture. And remember, you can just take a screenshot of the photo that I put on the screen, and then you can print it out or you can put it on your computer desktop. I will be sharing more in the future, so remember to subscribe so you get notified of future videos. I'd love to know how you went if you ended up drawing this picture. So remember, you can tag me on Instagram at sarahj.artist. I'd love to see your work. And anyway, you're very welcome to follow me along the journey there. I'm also on TikTok and Facebook. All the details are in the comments. So until next time, I hope you have a fabulous rest of the day wherever you are in the world. I'll see you soon.